Hello. And wow, that was, anyways, hi, and welcome to another episode of From the Pitch to Purpose, where I, your host, Sammy B on social media, Samantha Brand if you Google me. And I missed you guys. I took a little bit of time off. I had a lot of things back to back to back to back, and all of them were amazing. All of them were just life fulfilling, tremendously powerful things I got to do. If you listen to the last episode, it was all about my excitement and my anxiety and my everything on my way to a Turn Up Dance Fitness event where I got to just be in a room with a ton of other instructors and literally just emote through dance. I got to get through some really, really tough stuff through dance. And I wanted to recap that a little bit as well as talk to you guys about yet another transition that I'm going through. And that is basically what this entire podcast is about. That's how I've shaped it. I've had people on here where we just kind of just talk about life transitions. And these are my everyday friends. You know, one day Oprah's going to be on it, as well as, Beyonce. But for now, I've been talking to just my friends about their life transitions because wow, I've got some absolutely amazing friends. So if you'd like to binge some content and everything like that, please start at the beginning of this podcast, go through season 1. You're going to get to know me and my friends really, really well. But today, let me talk to you a little bit about my experience with the Turn Up Dance Fitness event. And that's actually going to lead me into something a little bit heavy. So again, if you're not in a place to listen to heavy stuff, go back and listen to my first episode with my sweet 3-year-old, or I think she was 2 at the time, but just listen to something a little fluffier because we're going to get really into it. We're going to get in there today. So this event, I got to, and when I say got to, I always say this because it's not always a definite that you get to do extra training for your craft. It's not always a definite that you'll be able to afford these things. But this year, I worked really, really, really tremendously hard financially to be able to pay for some of these things. And I got to bless myself, which I just, in the past 4 years since becoming a mom, I get to do it once or twice a year, and I chose this event. So we have Turn Up Dance Fitness instructor training, and then we have a second tier of training, which you heard about in the last episode. And when I tell you, I was so nerve-sighted, which if you've been in my community, that means I was nervous and excited about this. But walking into the room, I actually wasn't nervous anymore. And I think that was a little bit troubling for me because I was like, oh, I love these people. I know these people. And I just don't feel that freaking out moment. I felt so at home and at peace and excited. And then, as we do, we got into it and she asked, why are you here? And when I tell you, I couldn't think of not one reason. I was like, I don't know. And that also has never happened to me. I'm always like, I'm here to heal. I'm here to learn more choreography and how to teach it to my class better. I'm here for this, and that. I walked into that room with zero plan. And for someone with the type of anxiety I have, that's a really, really rare thing. It also meant that I was completely in the present. I wasn't worried about what to come. I wasn't worried about, my experience. I also wasn't like pinning up this huge expectation for this weekend to change my life, which I've done in the past. I've done that many times in the past with Turn Up events. Again, if you've never listened to my podcast or you don't know what Turn Up is, Turn Up Dance Fitness is a absolutely astronomically amazing dance fitness platform. And we do way more than dance fitness. We do a lot of mental and emotional healing. We do a lot of things that just help us as an all-around person, and we just happen to become better dancers and dance instructors. So when we walk into these spaces, we're expecting big things from ourselves. We're usually like, okay, I really need this in my life. I need a breakthrough. I'm at a plateau as an instructor. I'm at a plateau as a person. I need this. I walked in there and I sat down and she said, why are you here? And I was like, bruh, I don't know. I do not know. And that is rare for me. And as it's unfolding, as the weekend unfolds, I knew exactly why I was there. And unfortunately for me, that meant that it was going to be work, because we never walk into that room and then walk out not a different person. We always walk in fully ready to transform and walk out transformed. And that is one of the best return on investments you will ever get with TurnUp. You will always get exactly, and to be honest with you, way more than you bargained for. And so I walk in, don't know what I'm doing, whatever. And then we do some of these really awesome, let's call them exercises, in which we peel away all the different pieces of ourselves that we're fighting. And a lot of times, yes, we want to be better instructors. The point of it is to be better instructors. The point of it is to basically put ourselves in positions that our classes do all the time. They put themselves in a very vulnerable position where they don't know what's coming next. They don't know the song that we're playing. They don't know, the next move, but they put themselves in these positions week after week. And so it is our duty, our honor, our privilege to do the same for them and to put ourselves in situations that are hard so that we can relate to them. And these situations are hard. We get put in circles and we have to lead in ways that we're not used to, all of those things. And it's hard. And so one of these exercises comes up, and it's about something that I have been pushing away for a long time. And that is basically that towards the end of last year and the beginning of this one, I genuinely stopped wanting anything. I was like, well, if I don't want the thing, then I'm not disappointed that I don't have the thing. And I stopped wanting a lot for my business, my personal writing business. I stopped wanting a partner. I stopped wanting another parent for my daughter. I stopped wanting happiness. I stopped looking forward to things. I stopped planning. And I got really gut punched in this moment where I was like, I don't want to want anything. And that brings me to what I'm kind of going through this week and this month, because June is the month that has every single anniversary that my late husband and I have. So we met in June. He proposed to me in June on my birthday, which is already wow. We got married in June, and he passed away in June. And so there's not a whole lot of days or weeks in June where I'm at peace. And I did my best last year. I really, really did my best last year to plan my June. I was like, I'm not getting caught slipping this year. I'm going to plan it. I'm going to reclaim June. And last year, I freaking did it. I traveled. I put on 2 birthday classes, not just one, but 2 birthday classes. I started the month with my retreat, my writing retreat of last year, and my first writing retreat that I've ever ran, and it was super amazing and fundamentally changed me. And so I prepared. This year, June, I saw it coming in the horizon, and I was like, I don't have much planned, but I'll plan it. You know what I mean? I tried a little planning here, a little planning there. Wanted to go to New York to visit one of my best friends in the entire world. And I just didn't. I had so much going on in April and May that I just didn't plan for June. And granted, it is literally the first 4 or 5 days of June. Like, I can still plan June. But the feeling of his anniversary coming up and me having zero plan is throwing me off in a way that I was trying to avoid last year. And maybe I'm in a stronger place and I'm not as worried, scared, broken in the way that I was. And maybe I don't need the entire month planned the way I did last year, or, you know what I mean? But in so many ways, I'm sitting here like, what are you doing, Sam? Why aren't you having anything planned? And it's been a beating myself up for a couple days. And then I'm like, wait, we don't do that anymore. That doesn't sit well with me because we don't do that to myself anymore. We don't do that. And so in coming back from those thoughts and trying to dig myself really out of this grief hole that I feel myself, if you can imagine, when you're sitting, on a slope and you feel yourself sliding down and you're like, no, but you can't stop it. It's slippery. That's kind of how I feel. And to be quite honest with you, I know I know how to get myself out of it. I also know that like I'm kind of one to slide into that hole, be in the hole, be in the darkness, be upset, and then tell people about it. Not tell them while I'm sliding, not ask for a rope before I even start sliding, not, talking about it at all. I just kind of slide, I stay in a dark place, and I get myself out of it. But the cool thing about what I have kind of created in my ecosystem is I do have people now who check on me daily. I do have people that I talk to daily. And at one point in my life, I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that. I really, really didn't want to do that because I would feel very seen and I couldn't do the unhealthy things like lay in my bed all day or, escape into whatever mental sliding I was going to do. I couldn't do that if I had people in my life every day. And right now I do. And I remember I had a friend a few years ago tell me, she's like, why don't you just tell me when you're upset? And she was so mad. And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know that I'm upset. And so I've done so much work in the last couple of years to make sure that I'm aware of the slipping, not when I've fallen. I'm aware of the time that I am, I'm doing the things. And so ironically, I had two dear friends call me almost back to back yesterday. One of them, when she called me, I naturally stood up and made myself breakfast. And I had been sitting on the couch. I had also just had a back procedure, so I'm not able to go to the gym and put all of this, anxious energy into myself. So I have to rely on the other things. And she called me and I just naturally got up while we were talking. And it was almost like a body double. And if you have ADHD, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And I just naturally ended up just making myself breakfast and eating my breakfast. And then I laid back on the couch and I was like, I needed to rest. My back is telling me I need to rest. I don't want to rest. Again, if you know anything about ADHD, you know that there's that loop that goes through I should be doing something. Why aren't I doing something? Oh my God, I'm so lazy. But all those things, but then you just don't move and get up. So that was kind of happening in my brain, but I was like trying to fight it because as my sister told me yesterday, was like, that's toxic, that you need to rest and you're telling yourself you can't rest, And then I'm in that spot where I'm like, oh man, I should be getting up. I should be eating lunch. My other friend calls. And as she's talking to me, I got up. I made myself lunch. I ate that lunch. And it was so telling for me. I am someone who truly, truly thrives in connection. And my biggest battle that I fight within my grief is severing off connections while I'm in a dark place. And I do it very quickly and easily. And I'm very okay sitting in a room by myself all day. As extroverted as I am, if you've met me in real life, you'll be like, whoa, what an extrovert. As extroverted as I am, my chill is hard. And that might be because I played professional soccer for, 12 years, or I played soccer for 30 years straight. And when I'm tired, and I let myself lay down and blah, blah, blah. It might be because of that. It might just be built into me that I'm an intro extrovert in that way, where I'm like, I can definitely get down extrovertedly. That's not a word. It is now. And then when I'm home, I am home. I am an introvert. I get a lot of energy from being by myself. I enjoy being by myself, but it also can be used in a very toxic way for me. And so I'm in a place right now where I hear myself talking. I know that I need connection. I know that I'm about to go through some pretty hard days. I also know that it is my time of month, and that is going to add a layer of actually realness. I think that that's all that your period really is just it unmasks you. And so there's like a level of realness that you let yourself go to, or that you can't control and you go to, that you don't go to in other parts of your month. So I see that, and what I just did before starting this podcast is I told someone that I am struggling. And again, this is a new thing. It's really truly like I telling someone before the day, because a lot of times what happens is people find out when I post about it on social media. I'll be like, wow, today is his anniversary. And a friend will text me like, why didn't you tell me? And I don't know what to say. But instead, I've told a friend beforehand. I'm telling other people, and I have a lot of family who know that it's going to be tomorrow. I also have family who struggle. My family who knew my late husband are also going to struggle with their own grief tomorrow. And so I don't always reach out, but I did this time. And hopefully, the person I told is going to reach out to me tomorrow and check on me. And if they don't, it's okay, because I still made a step towards not being a hermit in my own grief and not, you know what I mean? Like, I know what to do, bro. Like, I know what to do. And it's just a matter of doing it. And I just ran one of my favorite running challenges as of yet, and it was called Healing on Purpose. And then when I tell you, when you are trying to bless others with something you've learned, you will be tested. So what has happened to me in the last couple of weeks? I got random little things like that you don't want to get mad at, like silly things like a rock hit my windshield. So just a tiny inconvenience that'll probably be fine, but maybe not. And I got to get that fixed. My daughter needs work done in her mouth. I need work done in my mouth. Like these tiny little things. It's like fate, God, Beyonce, whoever's running the show up there is like, Sam, you're teaching people, you're blessing people with knowledge of how to heal on purpose, but you still have to do the things in order to heal on purpose. You've got to practice what you preach. As much as I hate those cliche sayings, man, I've had to practice what I preach. And right now I'm in such a place where I'm like, I just want to lay down. But instead, I'm doing this podcast. I'm folding laundry. I'm reaching out to people. I'm going to make some steps towards, the retreat that I really wanted to have in June this year, but it's not working out. So we're going to do it in fall. I'm not going to beat myself up the way I have been. And so I'm excited about all those things. I know that I am making progress, and I'm coming to you raw because I know that someone out there needs to hear that it's okay, that you're hurting, but we can do better. And I can do better. And I am doing better.
And I think that at certain parts of my life, I confused a lot of times my giving myself grace with enabling bad and toxic behavior. So I'd be like, oh, it's June, so I'm allowed to just do nothing and not do the things I'm supposed to do. I'm giving myself grace. When in reality, it's June, I'm okay, I'm living. I have so much to be thankful for. And I can't just sit here and feed into my toxic habits of shutting down, of isolation, of not seeing people, because I know that, again, I said earlier, connection is really, really healing for me. And so these last couple of days, it's hard for me to answer the phone when someone calls, but I do because I know that connection is what keeps me going as a person. And I think that when we find what keeps us going as a person, when we're in those very, very dark places, it's hard to go and do that, because maybe it's going to the gym, and it is so hard to go to the gym when you're in a dark place. Bro, it's so hard. Or it's, dancing, and it's hard to put on the music, but like those tiny little steps, like today I just started folding. I just started folding things, and I was like, I'm going to do this thing even though I don't want to. I'm going to answer the call when my friend calls me. I'm going to finish this podcast because you know what? Saying all these things out loud, again, telling you guys these things, it holds me accountable. I'm not aligned with the person who used to hide, and I'm not aligned with the person who used to just wallow. I'm not aligned now. Granted, those first 2 years of grief were a doozy because it was back to back for me. I lost my husband. 3 months later, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. Those first 2 years were a lot for my nervous system. I'm still recovering. My nervous system is still recovering. I still have random days where I'm like, something bad is going to happen. It's sometimes my mom will call, or I'll try to call my mom and she doesn't answer, and I'm assuming the worst. Those things are still part of me. And in those moments where I am feeling those nervous system, relapses, I will give myself grace. But when I tell you that that fine line between giving yourself grace and enabling bad behavior is so thin. And I'm learning, again, I'm still learning, and every day, every single day, I'm still learning that if I don't continually heal on purpose, if I'm not mindful of the things that I'm falling into, and I'm not mindful of the way that I'm letting the world happen around me, and I'm not being intentional about just living my life and doing things pure and on purpose and intentionally, then I'm going to slip back into a very dark place, and I'm just not willing to go back there. First of all, my kid didn't see me very much when I was back there. My kid got to, see me laugh and things very minimally when in her first couple of years of life, and now she sees me laugh all the time. She tries to make me laugh. She understands what happy mom looks like, and so she's older now. She's turning 5 next month, and so she's old enough to understand and to absorb my bad habits and my good habits. And for instance, I actually journal in front of her now. Now, that is something that just happened because I needed to put it in my nighttime routine in a way that I wouldn't forget. So I paired it with her nighttime reading, and I paired it with her nighttime decompression, and it's been a really good thing for me to pair. And so sometimes she'll ask me, hey, can you write in there that I feel this way? Mommy's writing down her feelings. And so can you say that I had a really good day, or that I'm a little bit worried about this? And I'm teaching my daughter how to express herself and how to find solace in writing and how to journal. And I'm not doing it by forcing her to journal. She's just watching me by example. And she sees how I interact with people in the world. She sees me say hi to people when I pass them. She sees me smiling at passerbys in the store, and I'm teaching her how to be kind and empathetic. But I think that when we're upset and I used to just hide a lot of my healing from her, that I'm not helping her learn how to heal. I talked to a friend a while back when I said, I cried in front of my daughter, and she grabbed me and she hugged on me and loved on me. 2 months ago when I went to my late husband's gravesite, and I brought her with me, she wiped my tears. And I think that I'm giving her a chance to become empathetic and sympathetic, and I'm giving her a chance to comfort someone. And if we don't also teach them that part of life, if we don't also show that we're human beings, I don't know that she would ever have the chance to learn those things. And so I am in a whirlwind right now of a grief storm, but the difference of that and how I used to approach them a couple of years ago was that I felt myself slipping, and I reached up, I grabbed some of the vines and the ladders and the beautiful light that I used to hide from. I'm grabbing it, and I'm trying my hardest to hold on to it until this passes, because in the same way that, all of these things that we go through in life are fleeting and they pass, this grief wave that I'm in right now will pass. And it sucks to be in it, but I know that it will pass. And I'm forever proud of myself for who I've been becoming. I'm proud of myself for fighting my tooth and nail to be happy, and not just happy for other people and in front of other people, but happy alone on my own, happy just journaling, happy chilling, next to my daughter, and just happy in general. And I think content. And I'm so happy to be talking to you guys again. And I hope you guys have the best day ever. And I'll be back, and just go tell someone that they're awesome today, okay? Bye.